सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ ईशावास्यमिदगं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथाः मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनं कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेच्छतकं समाः। एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे। असुर्या नाम ते लोकाः तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जनाः। अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयः नैनद्देवा आप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षत् तद्धावतोऽन्यानत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति। तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्दूरे तद्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः। यस्तु सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मन्येवानुपश्यति सर्वभूतेषु चात्मानं ततो न विजुगुप्सते। यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतानि आत्मैवाभूद्विजानतः। एकत्वमनुपश्यतः सपर्यगाच्छुक्रमकायमव्रणम् अस्नाविरगं शुद्धमपापविद्धं। कविर्मनीषी परिभूस्वयंभूः याथा तत्यतोऽर्थान् व्यददाच्छाश्वतीभ्यः समाभ्यः। अन्धं तमः प्रविशन्ति ये विद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य उविद्यायागं रताः। अन्यदेवाहुर्विद्यया अन्यदाहुरविद्यया इति शुश्रुमधीराणां येनस्तद्विचचक्षिरे। विद्यां चाविद्यां च यः तद्वेदोभयगं सः अविद्यया मृत्युं तीर्त्वा अन्धं तमः प्रविशन्ति ये सम्भूतिमुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य उसम्भूत्यागं रताः। अन्यदेवाहुः सम्भवात् अन्यदाहुरसम्भवात् इति शुश्रुमधीराणां येनस्तद्विचचक्षिरे सम्भूतिं च विनाशं च यस्तद्वेदो भयगं सः विनाशेन मृत्युं तीर्त्वा सम्भूत्यामृतमश्नुते. So after having given the highest knowledge that the whole world is pervaded by the Supreme Lord as one's own self, and the way to attain it is purification of mind through Karma Yoga, and other than this we don't have any option. Living a lifestyle given by the Vedas, living a lifestyle prescribed by the scriptures, this alone is the option for us. Having made this clear, Bhagavan then describes what is this Isha. The Isha description is given, that Supreme Lord who is there in our own heart as our own consciousness, who is not only making this body alive, he is the inner controller. Not only he is the inner controller, he is the controller over the entire cosmos also. So whether it is Vyashti or Samashti, it is he who is in charge of the whole system. What happens when we realize this? When we realize this, we become free from all sorrows. There is vision of oneness. There is freedom from all delusion, confusion. There is freedom from all kinds of doubts. We abide in our own true nature. After having said this much, then the Rishi gives a guidance, a practical guidance to the seekers. What is the guidance? It is found that seekers get sometimes stuck at the level of action, or sometimes they get stuck at the level of meditation. Sometimes we find seekers who are not fully fit for meditation, wasting their time in meditation. Sometimes there is this joy of action also, and the joy of action becomes so much that they don't want to do meditation. They become workaholic. So what is the suggestion given? Combine both. Each one has something to offer you, something to give you, which the other cannot give. So both has to be practiced. So work and meditation. The second one is practicing Saguna Upasana and Nirguna Upasana. Practicing Bhakti and Jnana. Each one has something to offer you. So therefore don't become one-sided. Combine both. Both are needed for a healthy development of one's personality. So after having said this much, now we have some series of prayers full of bhakti, full of devotion. Very many times people say, in Upanishad there is no devotion. It's all dry jnana only. But here we will find that it is not true. So the next 4 verses are literally prayers. How we should pray, what should be our attitude while striving in this path of spirituality. The next one is a very famous one, verse number 15. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham Tattvam poshan apavrno Satya Dharmaya drishtaye Hiranmayena patrena Satyasyapi hitam mukham Tattvam poshan apavrno Satya Dharmaya drishtaye. Yes. So here is a prayer of a seeker unto the Lord. So what does he say? O Pushan. O Pushan. So the prayer is directed towards Sun God. Here Sun God is called Pushan. Who is Pushan? Poshanakarta. The one who nourishes us. The sun nourishes us, therefore he is Pushan. But through Sun God, here the seeker is praying unto the Supreme Lord. So in the Vedic times we did not have Rama, Krishna, etc. So therefore normally the prayers were directed to the cosmic deities. Indra Devata, Varuna Devata, Surya Devata, etc. That used to be the, what you call, Ishta Devatas in those times. People used to see Bhagwan in the force itself, in this cosmic forces itself. So here the prayer is directed towards Sun God, and moreover because it is coming under Shukla Yajurveda given by Yajnavalkya Rishi, he had worshipped Sun God. So maybe that also might be the reason why Sun God is referred to here. So what is the prayer here? O Lord, Satyasya mukham apihitam. The face of the truth, mukham, the face of truth, Satyasya mukham. What has happened to the face of the truth? Apihitam, it is covered. Covered with what? Hiranmayena patrena. With the patra, with a disc, with a lid of Hiranmaya, made of gold. The face of the truth is covered with a golden lid. The face of the truth is covered with a golden lid. Tat tvam apavranu. O Lord, this is my request. What is it? Apavranu, remove it. Please remove it for me. So that I, who am Satya Dharma, so that I may see it. I am Satya Dharma, I want to see it. So therefore, O Lord, please remove the golden lid which is covering the truth. This is the literal meaning. Now what does it mean? So it appears as though the truth is there in some vessel and it has been covered by a golden lid, and now he wants to see the truth. Now these are all symbolic. So all of us have come to this world. What is the goal? The goal is to know the truth. But what happens is, the world is so attractive and charming and glamorous that we forget the very purpose of coming to this world. Satyam is very clearly there as our own consciousness. You don't have to go anywhere to know the truth. It is me, myself. You have to just pay attention to it and you get it. But the world is so glamorous, so full of distraction through its attraction, that the very purpose of life is forgotten. So here is a seeker who wants to know the truth. The truth is very well there. which is hidden, but the lid appears to be so attractive that the fellow forgets that there is some truth there, and that's why he has come. So he takes the lid and comes back. The truth remains there only. The lid is so attractive, or the covering is so attractive, that the content is forgotten. What are the attractions of the world? As Ramkrishna Paramahamsa put it, Kāminī, Kāncana, Kīrti. Finished. Kāminī, lust. Kāncana, gold or wealth. Kīrti, name and fame. They become so attractive that the ultimate truth or God is forgotten. So in the process, what happens? We come to the world, instead of exhausting the vasanas and reach the truth, we pile up vasanas and go back. Hiranyamaya path, golden lid. Sita was also attracted by golden deer. Isn't it? Now there is a spiritual message there. Sita was always with Bhagwan Ramchandraji. And as long as she was with Bhagwan, she was very happy. Bhagwan was there, Sat was there, Anand was there. She was aware of his presence, Chit was there. So she was enjoying Satchit Ananda even in the forest. Amidst all these Rakshasas, etc., she was very, very happy. How long she was happy? Till that golden deer came. Even when the golden deer came, there was no problem. But then she made a mistake in setting her priorities. At one point, she made one mistake. What is it? Golden deer was seen. She did not even think that a real deer cannot be golden. If it is gold, then it is not deer. These two cannot go together. A deer made of gold is impossible, isn't it? Meaning, sentiency can never be the property of matter. Gold is matter. Life is consciousness. Two cannot go together. But then what did she was deluded. And then this golden deer became the first priority. Rama became the means to reach the worldly goal. Now Bhagwan is no more the goal. Bhagwan became only the means to reach the worldly goal. Finished. And then the anartha parampara, the calamity, the series of calamities began. Then what happens to her? Till then, who was under the protection of Dasharatha, now comes under the threat of Dashamukha. Isn't it? A person who is interested in the world can no longer be in the kingdom of the self. That person has to go away. Now where does she go away? To Lanka. What is Lanka? Samsara is Lanka. Such a person has to be born. Such a person has to leave that kingdom of bliss and go into the samsara. Where? Who is the ruler? Dashamukha is the ruler. What is this Dashamukha? The 10 Indriyas. Dasha Indriyas, Pancha Jnanendriyas and Pancha Karmendriyas. So what do we do in this samsara? Bas, employ these Dasha Indriyas. But then she realized the truth. Even though she was in Lanka, she refused to cooperate with Ravana. She was always remembering Bhagwan. Therefore, even though she was in Lanka, she was under the tree of Ashoka. ashoka, freedom from sorrow. So though she was in Lanka, she was free from sorrow because her mind was in Bhagavan. So ultimately Bhagavan comes, destroys this Dashamukha Ravana, and then takes her back to Ayodhya. That place where there is no Yuddha is Ayodhya, no conflict. So when Sita merges back with Rama, there is no more conflict. Tatra ko moha kashokaha. Right. So whole problem started where? Hiranmayena patrena. Isn't it? So now here is a devotee, here is a seeker who says, Bhagavan, this truth of yours, the truth is very easy, but the problem is this attraction on the way is very much distractive. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. Bhagavan himself says, nobody can cross over my maya just like that. So now, what is the prayer? Mameva ye prapadyante. So here, prapatti is given. Bhagavan, please save me. Tattvam pushan apavrano. Bhagavan, you alone can make me free from this attraction towards the world. I cannot do it. You will have to do it. At the most, what I can do is surrender. Bhagavan, I have done my homework. What is the homework? I am a Satya Dharma. So there is something which the seeker has to do, and there is something which God has to do. So what is the thing which seeker has to do? He should become Satya Dharma. He should be a person who has made his dharma, swabhava, as Satya. Means what? One should live the path of the truth, not living a life of sensuousness, a life of likes and dislikes. It is not a vasana anusari life, it is a shastra anusari life. Whatever the scriptures have said, in this way when we live, then we become a Satya Dharma. Satya Dharma means the one who considers Satya itself as the ultimate truth. And in order to reach this Satya, he has lived a life of Satya. Satyameva jayate na anrutam. Satyena bantha vitato devayanaha. The path to truth is also laid down by truth. So the path is also truth, the goal is also truth. So the one who walks the path of truth alone reaches the truth. So here the seeker says, O Lord, I have done my job, my portion I have done, my responsibilities I have fulfilled, therefore I have the right to see you. So here there is a loving authority. That's how Gurudev puts it. Beautiful word. Loving authority. So here is a devotee who has lived for God. Here is a devotee who has lived only to please God, not for himself. So here is a devotee who has sacrificed his life for the sake of God. What do you mean sacrificing one's life? Doing exactly what God wants you to do. That is called sacrifice. Yajna bhava is there. So this way he has lived, and therefore now he has gained a kind of authority on God. A loving authority. Bhagavan, I want this. This loving authority doesn't come just like that. You have to win the love of the other person. And to win the love of the other person, you have to live according to the desire of the other person. Then only you win that authority. Isn't it? Just like the children, the parents say, see, the exams are coming near, study hard. After study, then I will take you wherever you want to go. I will get you whatever you want. But this 1 month you study. So then this child, the son, studies hard. TV off, mobile off, everything off. One room is given and he studies, closing the door. Only he comes out for eating food. So 1 month he studies thoroughly. Throughout the exam, fully focused he studies, and the parents are watching. Right? No kind of distraction. The parents are very happy also that my child is studying. And then after the exam, the fellow comes up. Come on, now take me here, get me this. So what will be the attitude of the parents? They will happily give, because they have seen this fellow has obeyed my instruction, isn't it? So after that, whatever he wants, the parents get him. So too here also. There is a way, there is some expectation from the Lord. And what is the expectation? You must walk the path of Dharma. Dharma is one thing which Bhagavan loves the most. Because he takes avatar only to establish Dharma. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So one thing which he loves is Dharma. And therefore he protects all dharmic people. His job is to remove all adharmic people. So when Bhagavan loves Dharma so much, and here is a devotee who has made Satya his Dharma, meaning living a dharmic life. Bhagavan's nature is Satya, and Bhagavan takes avatar for Dharma. So here is a devotee who is a Satya Dharma. So the devotee says, Bhagavan, I have the right to meet you. Right. So here is a conscience which is so pure, free from all kinds of guilt. Whenever you do wrong thing, whenever you do adharmic thing, there is a guilt, isn't it? That makes you weak. Any sense of guilt, any sense of taint in consciousness makes you guilt. Makes you, that makes you feel guilty. And when you feel guilty, you don't have the moral authority to ask something from God. When you have developed a pure conscience through your righteous living, there is a kind of integration that happens within you. There is a kind of strength which you feel, the strength of purity. And with this strength of purity, you become confident that what you ask will be given to you, because you deserve it. With this confidence, knowing very well that all compassionate, all merciful Lord will definitely provide, because He has prepared Himself for so many years, living the path of righteousness. So with this confidence in His noble life, He is putting forth this request. Bhagavan, the world is full of distraction, and because of this distraction, I am not able to see you. Literally also it is true. The prayer is addressed to sun. Can you look at the blazing sun in the afternoon? The very light becomes a distraction, isn't it? Rising sun, setting sun you can see. But the blazing sun in the afternoon you can't see. Actually the light should help you to see, but what is happening? The very same light is preventing you from seeing it. This is what happens in sun. In the world is also it is true. The world is created in such a way that on one side it is very easy to infer the presence of God. But at the same time, the world is so tempting so as to forget you of God. You forget God because of the temptations in the world. The light which helps you see becomes a very light which prevents you from seeing. The world which helps you realize God becomes a distraction which prevents you from realizing God. So here the devotee is seeking the grace of the Lord. Bhagavan, I have done my part, now you have to do your part. The next one, again the prayer continues. He is not leaving. Persistent he is. Let us chant verse number 16. Pushanne karshe yamasurya prajapatya vyuha rashmin samoha tejah yatte rupam kalyanatamam tatte pashyami yosavasau purushassohamasmi. He is persisting for vision of God. Hey Pushan, O nourisher, O Ekarshe. Ekarshe means a lone traveler, the one who travels all alone. Ekarishi. Rushati gacchati iti Rishihi. Ekarshe. Rishi also means the knower, so the one knower, one who knows everything. O Ekarshe. O Yama. Yama means controller. He controls everything. How does he control? As time, he is the controller. The time is decided by the movement of the sun. Although the physical activities, whatever happens in the body, is also controlled by the rising and setting of sun. When the sun rises, activities become more. The physical metabolism increases when the sun rises. When the sun sets, the activities of the body is also slow down. So that way he is Yama, controller. Surya. Surya. Swikaranat Suryaha. What is Surya? It withdraws, sucks everything into itself. Therefore it is Surya. What does it withdraw? Jalasya Swikarana Suryaha. So it withdraws water. So water is evaporated, made into cloud. Cloud then becomes rain, and then rain cools down the earth. So it takes water from the ocean. So it is Surya. Jalasya Swikaranat. Rashminam Swikaranat. While setting, it withdraws its rays. The rays are withdrawn by a setting sun. Or it can be Prananam Swikarana. The pranic energy it withdraws while setting. So that is why we go to sleep. The pranic energy slows down when the sun sets. When the sun sets, it is the best time to sleep because the body is also preparing to take rest. So it is not good to work in the night. Night is meant for sleep. That is how the body is designed. The body is designed to work in the daytime and to take rest in the night time. The prana shakti becomes strong in the daytime. It becomes weak in the night time. So Surya, then Prajapatya, the son of Prajapati, the son of Brahmaji. So these are all the words addressing the sun. O Lord, who is the nourisher, who is the lone traveler, who is the controller, who gives and withdraws everything. O son of Brahmaji, O reverential one. What is the request? Vyuha Rashmin. Withdraw your rays. I am not able to see you. Remove these rays. Samoha Tejaha. Withdraw that tej, that heat, that glaring, that brilliance. Please remove it. So that I may see you. So what is this philosophical thing? O Lord, may I have your vision. May not your Maya distract me. please bless me with your vision. This is the whole thing. So now in this seeker you will find all the noble virtues. Number one, patience is there. Last verse also he was praying. This verse also he was praying. Means what? He is waiting patiently, prayerfully, full of surrender, full of humility, full of longing, and full of preparedness. He has done his homework. He has lived a noble life, a righteous life. And with this confidence he is praying. But even when he is praying, he is not arrogant. He is not restless or impatient. There is love, there is surrender, there is reverence. All these terms are used to indicate his attitude unto that reality. At the same time, there is intense longing also. This is how our attitude should be when we are walking this path. Keep on working hard. Be persistent. Be full of devotion. Be full of surrender. And patiently wait. Just like you try to go to sleep. It's a very good example. If you want to go to sleep, can you force sleep? Exactly at 10 o'clock I will sleep. You may lie down, but you can't force sleep. Isn't it? Sleep has to come. It has to come and embrace you. You can't barge into the kingdom of sleep. You have to prepare. Yes, preparation you must do. What is the preparation? Work hard, exhaust yourself, tire yourself, and yes, that is the initial preparation. Making the bed and lying down, that is the antaranga sadhana. Bahiranga sadhana is working hard in the world. Antaranga sadhana is lying down on the bed. Only this much you can do, isn't it? Then what has to be done? You have to wait. You have to just wait. With this desire, you have to wait. May I sleep? Then what happens? Then something happens which we don't know. And then we are no more there, isn't it? The desirer vanishes. The desire also vanishes. The desirer also vanishes. In the same way, here is a devotee who has prepared himself with devotion, with righteous life, with mind tuned, with all noble virtues. And now he is waiting. O Lord, give your darshan, and then it happens. What happens? Yatte rupam kalyanatamam tat te pashyami. O Lord, now I am seeing. Now actually these are not words, these are experiences. The experiences have been given words. It has been verbalized. Actually it is not something which is spoken, it is something which is experienced. And what is this experience? Yatte rupam, your form, which is kalyanatamam, the most auspicious. Not kalyanam, not kalyanataram, but kalyanatamam, superlative. It is superlative degree. The most auspicious form, O Lord, Pashyami, I am seeing. How are you seeing? Are you seeing it as an object? Yaha asau, asau purushaha saha aham asmi. What is the experience? That supreme Lord, that supreme being is me. So what is that nature of vision? It is not a divisive vision. It is not that the seer is seeing the seen as different from himself. No. The seer and the seen becomes one. The knower and the known becomes one. There is no duality at all. The experience is Advaita experience. Advaita Anubhuti. That Purusha is me. That God whom I thought was different from me. That Supreme Lord, Sarvashaktiman, Sarvajnaha, Sarvavyapi Lord. It is me. Wonder of wonders. It's a direct experience. So it is not a, verbal explanation, because in order to explain, you are not there now. Just like in sleep, you are not there to say, I am sleeping. I am sleeping. If there is somebody who is telling that, he is not sleeping. When you sleep, you are not there. Only sleep is there, isn't it? In the same way, when he says, Saha aham asmi, there is nobody who is saying this. There is only that Purusha. This Jiva is not there. The Jiva has been sucked into the infinite experience of the Purusha. Only Saha, only he remains. Aham is not there. So now the seeker has realized the self. So he lives a happy life, a fulfilled life, a life of contentment. And now the final moment comes. What is the final moment? The moment when the physical body has to be dropped. So when the physical body has to be dropped, see how cheerfully, happily he drops the physical body. In the next verse. Vayuranilam amrthamatedam bhasmantagam shariram Om kratosmara kritagam smara Kratosmara kritagam smara Vayuranilam amrtamathedam bhasmantagam shariram Om kratosmara kritagam smara Kratosmara kritagam smara. Yes. Now here is a devotee who has attained the very purpose of life. Now at the seat of death, this is his prayer. Vayuhu amrutam anilam idam. So here atha idam is there. Atha, now. Atha means now. Now means what? At the time of death. Now that I am going to leave this body, may this vayu, may this prana merge with the amrita anila, immortal samashti prana, samashti vayu. May this individual vayu merge with the samashti vayu. And may shariram, this body, bhasmantagam, may it be reduced to ashes. So what is understood from here? Number one, fearlessness. Total fearlessness. From where has this fearlessness come? From his aparokshanubhuti, direct experience that I am different from this body, mind, intellect. I, the pure consciousness, is a witness of this BMI, has nothing to do with this BMI. So there is a cheerful acceptance of the inevitable physical death. I am not going to lose anything. Now when the body is dying, there is also a heart filled with gratitude. There is an expression of gratitude. He is expressing his gratitude towards this Prakriti, the Mother Nature, who has given this wonderful equipment to him to realize the Supreme Truth. So now here is an expression of gratitude. O Mother Nature, O God, you have given this beautiful body to me. With the help of this body, I could realize the truth. Thank you very much. Now, with a heart filled with gratitude, I am returning back to you what actually belongs to you. This body is made of 5 elements. This body has come from you. Now, before departing, may I give back to you what actually belongs to you. See the beauty of dying. There is a beauty in dying also, not just in living. Just as there is art of living, there is art of dying. Cheerfully dying, gratefully dying, peacefully dying, happily dying, contently dying. This is the way we must learn to die. Upanishad teaches you how to die. Right? So what should be done in the final moments? Om Krato, oh my dear mind. Kratu means mind. Oh my dear mind. Kritagam smara, you remember. Kritam smara, you remember what you have done. Oh mind, in these final moments, remember that experience. Remember what all you have done. Kritam smara, oh Krato, Kritam smara. Twice it is repeated to emphasize that in this last moment, may you not think of anything else. May you think of only that. Remember of that experience. Also, twice it is repeated because the first one is, oh mind, think of what you have done. That's the first one. Second one, think of what he has done to you. Beautiful. In sadhana, there is something which you have to do, and there is something which he has to do. So, oh mind, remember what you have done, and remember what God has done to you. He has embraced you and made you his own. In short, at the time of death, remember Bhagavan. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaf prayati sa madbhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha. The final moments, antakale, the final moments when a person remembers me and leaves his body, such a person definitely reaches me. Na samshayaha, there is no doubt. The same thing is presented here. So the final moment, what should we do? Remember Bhagavan alone. Because the final thought will determine the future birth. It is a final thought which determines the future birth. Now, don't think that final thought can just be created. No. Prana prayana samaye kapha vata pitte kantavarodhana vidho smaranam kutaste. When the prana leaves, vata pitta kapha, when it blocks the very breathing, oh Lord, how can I remember you? So what has to be done? Throughout your life, that samskara has to be created. Remembering the Lord, being with the Lord, pleasing the Lord. Then if you have created that Daivi samskara, that samskara momentum will carry you through. That momentum should be so much that even when the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, etc. is making their presence felt, still the mind should be sticking to God only, not suffering in pain. So for this, tremendous amount of effort is needed, so that the samskaras become deep rooted, so that even amidst greatest of distraction, you are not distracted. If this way we can leave the body remembering the Lord, definitely we will reach Him. And this is what this seeker does. Bhagavatam, Bhishmacharya does this, isn't it? Seeing God outside and seeing God inside. Inside and outside, seeing Bhagavan, closing his eyes, focusing on Him. Bas, Uttarayana Kala, he leaves the body. It is not impossible, it is possible, provided God becomes our priority in life. Only then it is possible, otherwise it's not possible. You can't make God as your business partner or as a side business, it won't work. God should be your main business in life. Right? So now this seeker merges with God. The chapter is closed. Now what about seekers like us? So seekers like us who are still struggling in this path, not yet reached perfection, but we are all seekers. So there is a beautiful prayer given for the seekers who are still walking the path. Let us chant the last verse. Agnenaya supatharaye asman Vishwani deva vayunani vidwan Yuyodhyasmajjuhuranameno Bhuishtham te nama uktim vidhema Agnenaya supatharaye asman Vishwani deva vayunani vidwan Yuyodhyasmajjuhuranameno Bhuishtham te nama uktim vidhema. O Agni, Agni, O Agni, O fire. So here the Ishte Devata is fire, Agni. Agni Nayati iti Agnihi. The one who leads from front is called Agni. O Agni, O fire. Naya, please lead us. Where? Supatha, in the path of good, in the noble path. Asman, all of us. Rai, towards the goal, towards wealth. Rai means wealth. O Lord, please lead all of us in the noble path unto the greatest wealth. Why are you asking me to lead you? Because, O Lord, Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan. O Deva, Vishwani Vayunani Vidwan. You know all. Vidwan, you know. Vishwani, all. All Vayunani. Vayunani means karmas. O Lord, you know all our karmas. The beginningless past of the jivas, you know. Therefore, you are the right person to guide. But Bhagavan, if there are so many disqualifications in me, please remove those disqualifications also. Yuyodhi asmat juhuranam enaha. Enaha means sins. These sins which I have, which are juhuranam, crooked, wicked, deceitful, these kinds of sins I have. We have, asmat. So whatever these kinds of impurities are there in the mind, O Lord, yuyodhi, remove it. Please remove all those negativities which are present in our mind. So what is the request? O Lord, lead us in the noble path unto the noble truth. Because you are the one who knows the path, you are the one who knows what is good for us, you know the goal. Also you are the one who knows all our karmas, because our karmas we ourselves don't know. With what prarabdha karma we are born, we don't know, but you know it. And also, what all are the kinds of negativities in the mind, that also we don't know, but you know it. So in short, you are sarvajnaha and I am not even alpajnaha. You know everything, I know nothing. So therefore, Bhagavan, the only thing I can do is bhuishtam te nama uktim vidhema. The only thing we can do from our side is bhuishtam, again and again and again and again. Nama uktim. I can only speak these words of prostration, of salutation. This is the only thing we can do. We can offer the words of salutations unto you. Meaning, the only thing we can do is we can surrender unto you. This is all we can do. We will make ourselves available to you. Chisel us to perfection. Goal, you alone know. Path, you alone know. What is good, you alone know. What karmas, with what karmas we have come here, you alone know. What are the impurities, you alone know. So therefore, Bhagavan, I completely surrender unto you. I give this life unto you. Now you lead me from the front. This is the prayer. Mameva ye prapadyante mayametam tarantite. So what is the ultimate purushartha? Ultimate purushartha is sharanagati. So we also, may Bhagavan guide us, strengthen us, lead us. May Puja Gurudev bless us. May we also cultivate this kind of state of mind throughout our life, and may we merge in the Lord cheerfully and joyfully and gratefully. Let us remember Bhagavan Shankaracharya, who has given such a beautiful commentary, because of which things are clear to us. The beauty of this Upanishad has come out only because of Bhagavan's commentary for the foolish people like us, isn't it? So what can we say? Bhagavan, the only thing we can do is prostrate at your lotus feet in gratitude. Shankara Guru Jaya Shankara Guru Shankara Guru Shankara Bhagavat Pada Shankara Guru Shankara Guru Jaya Shankara Guru Shankara Bhagavat Pada Shankara Guru शङ्कर गुरो शङ्कर गुरो शङ्कर भगवत्पाद शङ्कर गुरो अपार महिमा गुरुनाथ अपार अपार महिमा गुरुनाथ अपार कृपा सागरा गुरुनाथ अपार महिमा गुरुनाथ अपार कृपा सागरा गुरुनाथ गुरुनाथ जय गुरुनाथ सद्गुरुनाथ गुरुनाथ 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 सद्गुरुनाथ गुरुनाथ दीन दयालो गुरुनाथ दीन परिपूर्ण कृपालो गुरुनाथ दीन दयालो गुरुनाथ दीन परिपूर्ण कृपालो गुरुनाथ परिपूर्ण गुरुनाथ जय गुरुनाथ सद्गुरुनाथ गुरुनाथ 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 सद्गुरुनाथ गुरुनाथ शंकर गुरो जय शंकर गुरो शंकर गुरो शंकर भगवत्पाद शंकर गुरो शंकर भगवत्पाद शंकर गुरो ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ।